get our windows rolled up, double checking your air conditioning. Let's also hit start recording on the PDR. So let's cruise on out. We'll start off with a warm-up lap, and then we'll just build the pace up from there. Remember, be precise, be accurate. Try not to make or try to keep mistakes to a minimum. I know we're not going to do everything perfectly, but with that, the biggest thing we can do to help ourselves, keeping our eyes forward, making sure we're able to see far enough ahead of the car to know what's coming up next. Utilize those reference points to your advantage, the braking boards, turn-in points, apexes. Reference my car, of course, when you're behind me. Think back to yesterday afternoon at the end of the day when you rode with us, how we were using the brakes. We weren't playing around with it. We were getting our initial braking done very quickly and very accurately. I want you guys to try to emulate that. So down the main straight, just reminding ourselves, getting up to 5th gear. The moment that we're back to full throttle, we should be putting our focus towards the braking zone up ahead, thinking about how much brake is it going to take, where am I going to apply the brakes. Now the time is not going to be made into the corner. By braking later, odds are you're probably going to overslow the vehicle or you're going to miss the apex altogether. But what ends up happening because of that, you lose time on the exit of the corner, and that counts much, much more. So just that subtle little reminder is the exit of the corner is always going to reign superior. Looking off to the apex 2 to the right, trying to make it a smooth, gradual arc. Shouldn't be fighting the car into the apex. It should feel just like a gradual radius. Steady hands. If we do it properly, we shouldn't really go too far past the middle. That same steering is going to bring us back towards the near apex. We get up to 5th gear, looking up, making a straight line approach. Now every single time you guys touch that brake pedal, I want you to look for your apex off to the right side. Remind yourself it is a tight corner. It is a lot slower than we want it to be, so we have to treat it as such. I prefer to get down to the curb just slightly before the cone, and then exiting the curb slightly after. Smooth roll, heading down towards the bowl. Now, since it's not a completely straight line braking zone, we kind of drag the brake with fairly light pressure just to help ensure that we're able to get into our apex. Then we can drive it out on power. 4th gear as you turn 3, it'll allow you to get to full throttle much sooner. Then you can just carry the momentum back into the left. Stay on this left curve to the end of it. That way it opens up the approach for 7, and then you can get more aggressive on the power coming out of it. Drag the brake for a while into 8, look through the apex, thinking about turn 9. That is the point of focus that we need to remind ourselves of. Looking left, quick initial steering, and then we can squeeze to the power. Balancing it, looking into the right, and then we'll start picking our speed up out of turn 10 this time around. Alright, so not a good way to start that off there, Rob. I want to give you some room to run, but we cannot be doing that, buddy. Your tires are warm. There's zero excuse for that. I'm not going to fill out paperwork for you in the first part of the morning. Head in the game. Just really try to keep mistakes to a minimum. Our wheels aren't straight. That's not the indicator to just punch it. I want to sound mean, but that was pretty unnecessary first corner when we start going quicker. So up to 5th gear here. Eyes up to the top of the hill here, John, thinking about our braking zone. Down to 4th, as you look into the right, think about the bowl. Start to visualize a smooth line that you can carry so you can get back to the power and carry it all the way out. Now looking in left, watch my left side tires. I'm just going to gradually taper right to the white line, and then immediately from there I can roll to the throttle as they open up the steering. Looking left, prioritize turn 7, the last apex of the sequence here. Looking to the end of the straight, back to throttle. Build the speed on the small straightaway here, so that allows you to carry the brakes deeper into the apex of turn 8. Alright, keeping it tidy here, John. Looking left. Spot your exit, back to throttle. Alright, let's get another lap under our belt. Make sure that we're waiting until we open up the steering before we get on the power. exit of the corner. All the way out left on the power. Little breathe, let it turn in, get the rotation, and right back into the gas here, John. Steady steering input, up to fifth gear. Straighten out our braking as you look to the right. Down to fourth. Look down into the bowl. Decreasing radius as the speed of the car drops, our steering input becomes proportional to that. All the way up to the right. Try to make your third gear downshift right around that apex there to the left. Then back to power. All right, keep the momentum here, John. Keep looking in right. Think about turn 9. There you go, good setup. Patience into 10. There's nothing to gain by going into 10 too quickly, but you are going to lose speed on the exit. Just be patient going in. Good job. Alright, let's do it again. Up to fifth gear. Looking to the center. Easing out of that brake pressure. Back to power. Turn 2 is all about timing. As long as you're pointed towards that apex, you can go back to full throttle pretty quickly. Now we were a little wide through that near apex there, so what that tells me is that we had a big steering adjustment to the center of the corner, which usually also indicates that we're going to ease out of the gas. So just trust your instinct and look a little further ahead of the car through that long corner at turn 2. Now watch my left side, do it with me. Work it in, then roll to the power coming out. Try to use a little bit more of the curve to the left there as well. That was better, but then we missed turn 7. So the idea through those S's, because they're so tight and technical, is that the more apex curving you can take advantage of, the more broad that radius becomes, which caters to more speed. Right, looking into the right here with me, John. John, I'm going to have you over to the right side for me. We're going to rotate. Rob, I'll get you behind me next, followed by Sam. John, you're going to jump in behind the red number 12. So it'll be a blue 112, red 12, and you'll be third in line there, John. Alright, so Rob, let's get the fourth gear, look through the apex, try to see the exit of the corner, and we'll start picking up our rhythm on the exit of 1. Breathe off the throttle as we turn in, patience on it, and roll right back in. Steady steering up to fifth gear, eyes up, top of the hill. Think about your braking, get the car slowed initially, look to your right. Fourth gear, roll the radius, start tightening just a little bit more for me, now roll the gas. And Sam, try to give just a little bit more separation for me. It's really hard to see past the car in front of you when we're that close. Thank you. Alright, Rob, carry the rhythm up to the S's, parking it left. Watch my right side tire shut off. At the curve, then we can get back to the throttle pretty quickly. Towards the exit, now back to the gas. Easing up on the power, patience, get it pointed, now let's go, back to it. Eyes up, top of the hill. Fifth gear, straight line brake, no one single downshift to fourth. Yeah, so Rob, you got to use fifth gear there, buddy. You're probably hitting the rev limiter. If not, you're lifting early. There's way more speed to be had than what fourth gear will cater to, so that's why I'm saying fifth gear. I'm not doing it to waste my breath. Looking in left. Damn, that's there. Throttle up. Looking through the center of 8, thinking about 9. Notice your my car's out staying right here. You're a little wide, so watch how I make some time on you just because of that. By getting greedy in turn 8 and running wide on the exit, you're making turn 9, which is already the tightest corner on the track, even more small. So let's fix that this next time. Otherwise, it's a good one. As we turn in, hold the wheel steady, back to power, up to fifth gear right there, stay in the gap. Then do brake, one downshift to fourth, and match my speed here, so roll it. No problem. Braking, looking left. All the way out, on the gas. Pretty light braking all the way through here, but it's necessary for most of it just to get the car to change direction back and forth. Now I'm going to let you get right to my bumper here, so third gear, let it out wide with me, don't worry about the throttle, I don't want you to touch the gas till you're right at the apex, stay right. There you go, then you can brake, get the car to pivot, and then back to power way sooner out of 9. Looking down the straightaway. Alright, so Rob, I'm going to have you over to the right side for me. We're going to rotate. Yeah, good improvement there. Turning the previous lap is really the only mistake. That lap overall I think was a lot cleaner than that one we just ran. Sam behind me. John, you're going to stay behind the red. Rob, you're going to wait for the orange 23. Alright, so Sam, we are all clear. Looking into the right here, Sam. We'll get herself pointed towards the apex. We can roll right back to the floor. Stretch out forward, up to fifth, thinking about your braking. Start up initial pedal. One downshift, look to the right. Remind yourself of that apex. Work it in, patient. Got on the gas just a little early right there, so that way we don't have to work the wheel too much on the approach to the bowl. Working a couple refinements just in that area, like the speed. It's just at the cascade effect. If we're off slightly in 3, odds are it's going to affect the entry to the bowl as well. Throttle on the straight. Carry the brakes in. All about accuracy through the speed through turn 8 is kind of subsequential. It's more or less focusing on just getting the car pointed appropriately. Now the reason that we had that little moment right there is we just got the gas too aggressively. We thought we had the car pointed proper, so we just rolled right to the floor, and obviously the tire didn't hold it. So the tighter the corner, the more that we need to be accurate with our input. Otherwise, let's get a good lap here up to fifth gear. Brake pressure established here with me. Fourth gear, looking into the right, goes to the left. Look for your exit now, Sam. Back to power. All the way to the cone, breathe, let it roll for a moment. Now right back to it. Steady steering input, look up to the top of the hill. So just try to stay closer to the curve for a little bit longer here, make more of a straight line heading into the bowl. Watch where my car's at. And we were just wide altogether. Got to slow the car down more. I'm trying to go too fast everywhere and it's just slowing us down everywhere. So it's more or less about slowing the car more going into the corner and then you'll get a better exit. Now another thing, going up the hill there into 3, make sure that we're braking pretty hard. That's going to be our hardest braking zone on this track. So I didn't see it obviously, but Rico's telling me that Rob, he had a little bit of ABS that last lap. looking into the right. Back to tower. You're turning in a little early in a few places, and I think what it is because you're watching my car kind of inviting you in. So use me as a reference. Remember, still, don't abandon your own reference point. Like last lap, you know the apex is 3 here. Try to slow it just a little bit more, even if you need to stand the brakes pretty hard. Tighter, tighter, tighter. Now drive down on power. Straighten her up, park it in. Notice my brake lights here. Looking left, continually tighten. Now you can throttle out. White brake left, looking right. Good job in the apex of 7. Smooth throttle input as the exit turn 8 leading into 9. A little wide there, however, but you made the proper compromise. That way you still got a good run out of 9. Side here, Sam. I'm going to get John back behind me. So just watch your mirror there. You'll have an orange followed by a blue there, Sam. So we're gonna do 2 cool down laps. I want to talk about some shift points with you guys. I was getting calls every single lap on the radio that we were off on our shifting. You guys are leaving a lot of time on the table if you think 4th gear is faster through here. Either that or you're over slowing and we're not trusting the car enough. And 2, you're gonna absolutely need 5th well before that white and pink near apex we just passed. Get up to 5th, even if it means a little earlier, you'll have less hesitation getting back to full throttle. The braking here into turn 3, make sure that we're slowing that car down plenty. Very tempting to go in here a little bit too hot and heavy. Make sure you're getting the car slowed enough so that way you can build the speed into the bowl. The more speed and the quicker to full throttle going down to the bowl here, it's only going to cater to earlier braking or longer braking, excuse me. When you do it right, it should feel easy, but when you have a big adjustment somewhere in there, it's that we're making a compromise elsewhere. Through the S's, every time you crest out of the bowl, I want you guys to all look for this last apex that I'm currently passing. If you locate this one early, then it's going to help you remind yourself of what your priority is. It's always going to be getting out of turn 7 there properly. I like to do my 3rd gear downshift right around that 2nd apex in the S's, and then I just stay 3rd gear, of course, through the next few portions. Make sure we're getting ourselves squared up for 10. We're not trying to get into here too quickly or too early. Yeah, so just as long as you're carrying enough speed into turn 2, you can get the throttle pretty quickly here, and you're going to need that 5th gear, so just make sure we're making a habit of that. Otherwise, it starts to throw the sequence off, or then we're accidentally pulling a downshift going into 3, and then we're on the gas so aggressively that the car misses the apex, and just, it snowballs from there. So just keep the shift points consistent, I promise. You can go plenty fast. There's really not a whole lot of places that I would do different if I was trying to run a hot lap. through the S's, use all the first curve, use all the left, straighten it out, then that opens up the approach for 7. But otherwise, we're going to bring it in this time around. You guys can hit stop recording.